we're here today with a close mentor, friend, I call him my uncle, I guess, Mr. Kent MacPhee at the Claddagh Oyster House in Old Dublin Pub on Sydney Street. I guess you've owned it for probably close to 2 years now, Kent?
It is 2 years this month. Yeah, it's our second anniversary. What a way to celebrate. 2 years.
You know, it's been a great, well, this is a beautiful facility. And we're at the high-end part. We just went up earlier at the Dublin side, which is a more popular location. Maybe Sam and I may have frequented there more later at night. But you've owned this business now for 2 years.
Yes.
You've just been whacked with this industry blight, I guess, COVID.
Yeah,
it's affected not just restaurants, but it's affected every business segment. I think more so probably restaurants.
Yes.
Have you found this? Have you adapted to it? What are your big
takeaways? Didn't see this coming when I signed the check, a couple of years ago with my business partner, Kent Scales. We were proud as heck to be able to be in a position to buy both the restaurants in one building. Kim and Liam had opened this in 1983. I think it's likely perhaps the longest standing restaurants in the city with the same brand.
That's still going, yeah, exactly.
I think Papa Joe's was perhaps right around the same time, but I could be wrong. I haven't done too much history on it, but I know we've been here for like 37 years.
Wow.
And Kent and I, for the last two, like many restaurants and many businesses, things were rolling along pretty darn good in 2015, 16, 17, 18. In many sectors across PEI, things were booming. This place was booming when we purchased it, and purposely we didn't make a lot of changes. We just come in to carry on the same service standards that people have come to expect. And but when March came, and it was kind of ironic that things shut down on St. Patrick's Day, because that's for many Islanders, they would know that's our biggest day and funnest day of the year, and have to close at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 5 o'clock. It was quite a shock to see a place that's normally rocking and other places, of course, on St. Patrick's Day. So yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a journey to say the least. And for those people that know me, I've worn rose-colored glasses for a lot of my life, and I can tell you. They get pretty dim on some of these days, right? Because you have to dig deep, in helping people through it. You have to help your business through it. You have to help your employees through it, and you have to help your customers through it. I think that's what's fascinated me the most about the first 2 years is how many awesome customers that we have here and are loyal to this place. And some of them, we have groups of people here that have been coming, to this building, same seat, same time for 30 plus years.
Wow.
Dave Thompson, and Ian Smith and a whole group that come Saturday morning, Saturday mornings to the upstairs to the end of the bar. And Dave's grandson, Kieran, comes with his dad, Sean, and he's been coming here every Saturday morning since he was, I think, 3 weeks old.
Wow.
So we were blessed to...
Cheap babysitter.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
The wife's still shopping or something. Saturday morning.
Yeah, honestly, well, they do their, Dave's wife, Joyce, they do their, the guys' wives, they do their thing. And then, but you can pretty well, where Dave's going to be and Sean and Kieran, and you know what they're going to eat and stuff. So there's, aside from the business side of it, there's just so much deep relationship and history in the place. And, some of the customers of our regulars I knew and many I've met, and I couldn't be more thankful, how they've supported us, whether it's through, since we've reopened, or supported us during the curbside takeout and through April and May and stuff. But you got to dig deep. I think whether you're in business, no matter who you are these days, you have to dig deeper than you ever did before, and likely dig deeper than you even knew you could.
So I see you've got a little bit of a brogue. So this is an iconic sort of restaurant. You adapted to it very well, but it's pretty ironic. You mentioned this now, St. Paddy's Day, which is the longest day of the year probably for you, and certainly the best.
Yeah.
That's the day the wheels came off this. And when that was coming off, you kind of saw it coming, but did you think we'd be into this long of a impact when you were forced to close?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. And I don't think anybody did. I don't think anywhere in perhaps the world thought it would last this long. We could sense leading up to the 17th, as we watched the virus expand, in other parts of the world. So, some of us started, self-isolating perhaps even before, we had to. But we had, I had been speaking every day with Paul at the Old Triangle in days leading up to St. Patrick's Day to see because we usually do the same. I guess we're competitors, but we're also friends, right? So we were going to do, mirror what the other one was going to do. So we decided, even in advance of closing, that it was likely perhaps irresponsible to even proceed with it,
even try it
before the closures came into effect. But we said, okay, well, do you know what? Let's take a different approach. Let's go with May 17th instead of March 17th, May 17th. Yes. And it turned out that it was the long weekend in May, like thinking, hallelujah.
Right.
This would be our best one ever.
In business.
Yeah, where, you got more predictable weather, and stuff. So we figured May 17th, we would be having, a great Irish party on site. Yeah. And then May 17th came and passed. Yes. For those wondering if we're going to have one, we still hope and plan to have one. In fact, we have some ladies from the western end of PEI that have been coming here for 30 years or so at St. Patrick's Day. Advised me they're coming in their Irish attire, 5 or 6 of them, I think, from
whether we're open or not.
Whether we're open or not, they're coming. So don't know what I'm going to have for musicians yet on that day, but we'll do something. They're very. It's a big deal to them, to come, and it's a big deal for us that they do come, and they stay. They stay 2 nights at a hotel. They bring, I think, 3 or 4 outfits. They change because they come at 7.
Yes.
We have the breakfast.
Different seating. So they can.
It is. Yeah, they come and I can't wait to see them. So and I had somebody else tell me recently that he went out and bought a new $500 kilt, and he's expecting to wear it here for St. Patrick's Day. So we hope to have one.
It still fits.
Yeah. I'll tell you, mine wouldn't fit right now.
But how do you, this has been pretty, I mean, I go to restaurants as often as I can. It's important you shop, support local. I don't know how a restaurant functions efficiently in this economy where you've got, you've done really well here, but I can see a lot of restaurants where you're shaved not 50%, maybe you got 30% of your capacity. It's tough to make a viable business if you've got 70% of the chairs filled. And when you're slim back, maybe 30% available, you can't get the momentum. In this kind of environment, it's a very dynamic, energetic. You don't get that energy. And you're unique because this is a really substantial enterprise. But there's a lot of restaurants I know are hurting through this. And I think that's a story people don't get to see.
You're spot on, Blake. And we like to think we're unique, and I guess in some ways we are, but we're certainly not unique to the paralyzing of this. There's been a lot of words used to describe it, but to me, it's paralyzing. And the restaurants, among a number of sectors that are perhaps hit the hardest, that the model doesn't work. at 50 people, or in some cases, like here in the Claddagh, we're for social distancing, we can only really get about 28 in here.
What's your capacity?
Here, our capacity is about 60.
So that's pretty substantial.
Yeah. So that
but
model
your prices haven't
wouldn't
changed.
work. Well, actually, to tell you the
people-
truth, we brought them down a little bit. To tell you the truth,
So that's not efficient.
add to them.
But the economies of trying to fill it means cubic density. How many people can you get in a space?
Yes.
How quick can you turn them over?
Yeah.
And if you're cut back 50-30%, I mean, it's a challenge that I think many people, even if you go to frequent restaurants, you don't recognize the impact this is to business owners, restaurateurs, the staff who are impacted. In many cases, a large portion of their income is gratuity, and if you lose that,
it is,
and that ripples through the whole economy.
Yeah. Oh, it truly does, and again, we've been able to hire back, a good chunk of our staff right now. Thankful to have, wage subsidy program right now. You know what I mean? That I really think, whether everybody agrees with it or not, I really think it's the difference of whether businesses are open or not.
Right.
I talked to different business owners that had no intentions of opening this summer without it, and I do know of some that have opened, and we could very well be one of them. If we didn't have that in place, it would make no sense to be, with all due respect. You would, and again, without crying woes, but you lose less at the end of the day. Without that, with this you lose less, and I'm not crying woes, but like I say, locally and globally, restaurant owners and business owners, I think some are likely reluctant to say how bad they're hurting. To be honest with you,
well,
it's not something people. It is bad for business.
It's also swallowing pride. You don't want to be able to be and say, "Oh, well, actually, I'm on that verge of bankruptcy," or whatever the case may be. You don't want to.
You're spot on.
You're trying to say that you're doing better than you are. No, exactly.
And particularly in a small community like Charlottetown, and even smaller communities,
and one that's so reliant on the tourism industry that you need tourism foot traffic through the door to.
Oh, totally.
To top
you
up
totally do,
your
and we, we have again, we're blessed to have a very loyal local following. But in the summer, there's a lot of seasonal operations. So you're dealing, you're dealing with the same population, but with perhaps 40 to 50, other in the industry that are open, perhaps May till September or whatever. But when there's tourists here, there's enough for everyone. Right. But certainly right now with our population numbers, there's nowhere close, to enough for all.
Now the bubble's open.
Yeah.
And there's some, I guess, apprehensive enthusiasm of what that
That's
I think everybody really, you're hoping people come, but there's no way to measure it.
No.
I know, I had breakfast out at a little restaurant around the corner from here, and it was quiet.
Yeah.
And clearly they rely on that traffic generated from tourism. It's not here yet.
Totally do. And we are among them. We don't perhaps see, we would be less impacted by the cruise ships than some, more the waterfront restaurants are going to feel more of that. We would get a little bit from the cruise ships, but it's just general tourism, bus tours and maritimers and, from all over, but the cruise ship doesn't hit us as hard as it's going to nail some.
Right. But in that cruise ship, there's the tourism operators, there's the taxi companies.
I'm glad you mentioned taxi companies because I tell you, there's not many taxi. You don't see many on the streets right now. They're one of the forgotten.
The airport's done.
Oh,
they're not sitting out here at late in the night picking up fares.
That's the same across all matters of business too. Because when we see, for example, a restaurant closes during COVID.
Yep.
Well, the restaurant's closed, but Joe Blow on the street doesn't realize. Well, that means the meat supplier, the French fry supplier, the beer supplier, the napkin supplier. All those people feel the effect of the one restaurant and times that by 50 restaurants in Charlottetown.
Oh, you're spot on.
It's the chain of command because a lot of people wouldn't realize that, Dublin's closed. Yeah, but what does that mean? That means all their suppliers, the hundreds of suppliers you have, they're all feeling the hit too.
But excellent point, Sam, because some of those suppliers are ones that, again, people might not even think about how hard they're hit. Your natural thoughts go to ADL, MRC Foods, Mike's, a lot of those processors that you mentioned. But we, and I suspect others, buy a lot, particularly in the summer months, from your small farmers, that specialize in certain vegetables and stuff like that. And, they get hit every bit as hard, and in some cases harder, you know what I mean? Because it's their income, it's their livelihood. Again, but it's such a ripple effect. You mentioned, the taxi drivers, the airport and their employees, and tour companies, throughout Charlottetown, tour companies, tour guides, how many people do we all know that, show our province and city so proudly to tourists? They're hit, wham. You know what I mean?
And normally, in a functioning economy, you get this dovetail where people would be trained and they'd learn.
Yeah.
So in this particular case, you may lose a season or two of people who have that experience and that local knowledge that can't transfer it because you've got this gap.
Yeah.
Not to dwell on the negative. These are challenges that people don't recognize through the whole supply chain.
You're
again, taxation. If you don't have that business activity and the revenue to support the taxes that you're required to generate yourself out of this crisis, and government have spent a lot of money federally and provincially to support us to get through this. But I mean, from my perspective, and you're closer to the ground, I don't see it ending. I think this is the earliest is probably 12, 18-month horizon. Beyond that, it could be multi-years for some companies. Now, again, we're in a great location, a stable, well-recognized. This is a high brand. You and others like this business will recover faster. But the impact and the effect and the diminishing of cash reserves is going to be profound for a lot of families.
You're spot on, Blake. And no one is equipped enough right now to be able to say whether it is 6, 12, 18, 24 months.
Depends on the vaccine.
It truly does. And until then, it requires, continuous good behavior. You know what I mean? And I think Islanders, the fact that we've had, zero transmission.
We're the envy of the world.
We are, and for those of us that love Prince of Ireland, I don't think we've ever loved it any more than we have the last, 3 or 4 months, and seeing that we do take it serious. We've listened to Heather Morrison and her, guidance, and we're the envy of many places in the world right now because we've listened. And I think whether we're business owners or employees or whatever we do, I think we've demonstrated that Islanders have listened well. And on the topic of listening, I think it's and again, I'm not crying Moe's, but the business community of PEI is paralyzed. And I don't know that, is
that recognized or wondered?
I think, I think to some degree it might be. But I can tell you it's a fine line right now. Business owners, as I said, no one ever likes to tell about a bad report card. That's the one you hide from your mom and dad, right?
I never had any bad.
You would not have, Sam would not have that problem.
Mine are all in my bed still.
His Steve and Jacqueline, usually drove to the school to pick us up, because they couldn't wait to read it.
It's a sought after bestseller every year. Here's a question I'll ask Sam. So we have been compliant to sort of, respond or adapt and accept the guidance we've been given. We've shut down. You see what's happening in the States, they're not compliant. They're doing what they need to keep their economy active. I don't think the economy will ever shut down again. I think it was an experiment. It was important. We mitigated a lot of crisis.
Yeah.
But I don't think we can afford the type of duress that we put the economy under before. I'm not going to ask you because it might be unfair, but any thoughts, Sam, on, if we get another incident, another viral outbreak, which I expect we probably will, that's a reasonable course of these viruses, how they work. There'll be some strong measures, and there's new legislation to force people to, do things that they may be uncomfortable with. Do you think people will be as compliant another time? And I guess consequently, can business endure a long duration? 14 days, sure, you can probably shut down. You can last 3 weeks if that's what it takes. But if it's longer than that, I'm not sure people will be as patient.
And I think we're just tip of the iceberg, because it's, like you said, it's almost a pilot, like it's a test. Well, this is what happened, and we restricted, we did well, but what's going to happen when it blows up even more? I think there's almost like two trains of thoughts. There's my demographic. Mm-hmm. Sorry to you guys. And your demographic. But my demographic. But the older demographic is more conservative in terms of, all right, well, let's shut down, let's be careful. Yep. But whereas my demographic, the under 25, under 30 crowd even, is going to say, well, I won't get it. Why do I care? Like, if the restaurant's open, the bar's open, I'm going to go. If the beach is open, I'm going to go. So I think there's two trains of thought in it. The older demographic is obviously more conservative, more, well, we got to stay home, we got to do this. But whereas maybe my friend group or my demographic, my age group would be more willing to say, I don't give a shit, I'm going to go and do what I want because I'm a kid, I don't care.
Which is the same.
Obviously, it's a little harder when there's no nightlife and stuff like that, but you can still go and you can go get in trouble elsewhere, I suppose.
So do you think bars should be under these restrictions? If young people are going to socialize and are going to go out, should the economy be impacted by reducing bar complement?
Well, it depends how you look at it. Like, I understand the nightlife not being open because that's when it's packed at any bar, that you're right beside each other.
And they're shutting them down in Texas now.
But in terms of a restaurant, when their capacity's 30, 40%, whatever the case may be, you should be able to sit for, it depends how much you're drinking, I guess. But if you're not roaring at each other across the table, but if it's if you're reasonably distanced in terms of, instead of having 12 feet apart, 6 feet apart, whatever the case may be, I think they should be able to add a little bit more capacity of competency to what they can do.
And a strong guideline. I see people wearing masks. There's different even in our office, a different compliance with cleanliness and cleaning. And when people come in, you scour everything. I mean, we're a Clorox factory now. So maybe some of those things could be relaxed. But I guess the big question, will people come back? I mean, is the public ready? Do they have the discretionary income to support this?
You know what? Great question, and great outlook from the younger to some of us that aren't so young anymore. I guess first I'm gonna reference the nightlife for your 30 and under crowd, which we which are very grateful to have. We have, as I always said, we get the cool kids, and I think you might have been here one Saturday night, sir. So anyway, we have a very loyal following, and despite the odd hours, I enjoy coming in from time to time and seeing those customers as far as late night. So we've had lots of inquiries, to say the least. When are you going to late night? And we've chosen not to, despite additional impact. But we've been going just until midnight. The midnight hour.
Does it matter?
Well,
bad things happen after midnight.
Yeah.
Does it really make a difference if you extend it those 2 extra hours? Because that's where you probably make more of your. As a business owner, I'd want to be open those lucrative hours. You're leaving a lot on the table.
We are, but we're kind of walking before we run. We're kind of, to be honest with you, like we're kind of testing it. Again, I guess much like I look at it almost as the Renew PEI program where we're doing it in phases, right? We're in phase 4, and I would love to have it, but right now I just need to be comfortable that everyone's going to be as responsible as they are before 12 o'clock. So so far so good, but we're just not going to take that risk just yet. But hopefully, as more demonstrative good behavior, and results, then we'll expand, back to, our normal hours.
So do you have that flexibility today? Can you extend your hours? Or you're under restrictions?
Yeah, no, we can stay open
Okay.
till 2. It was a personal choice of Kent and I, and our management team to just ease into it. Again, it's not that we want to do it. We just feel it's the responsible thing to do right now.
And a lot of it's around like strong decision making. And prior to your restaurant scene, you were in communications. You still might be the lead singer in the Clyde River Presbyterian Church Choir. But to scale back a bit,
into the back row.
The importance of strong decision making, pre-COVID, post-COVID, everything. Like I think that fast and quick and just strong decision making as a whole. I think you've proven that in terms of your management team as well. That let's look at the facts.
Yes.
Let's analyze them and then go from there.
Yes.
I think a lot of people don't realize the importance of the planning aspect of it because you can't just throw yourself in if you don't jump into a pool if you don't know how to swim.
Yeah.
So
No, that's a great thought because it is, it's crazy. I've likely, in the 2 years we've been here, the last 3 months have likely been my 3 busiest months because planning and because what you plan one day and you think, okay, we know this, and it's just like, whew, that plan can be thrown out the door because other plans, in the neighborhood have changed and stuff. But I tell you, and forecasting, God love our chef, Mitch, because we've had a lot of historical numbers, to go from. And this year it's just a shot in the dark, right? So thankfully we have local suppliers, 3 or 4 blocks away that we can run and get, if we fall short. But no, that's a very good point, and perhaps one that people might overlook, plan. But we're happy, we're happy with things, the volumes are suffering 3 weeks in, but we're happy with. Importantly, we're happy with the feedback from the customers, and every customer that's come in has felt comfortable with the measures we've taken, to be responsible. We didn't put on a lot of fanfare, what we were doing to, address the new measures, but I think our reputation would prove to our regulars that we would take it seriously. Our standards, I'd like to think our standards are up there anyway. And it costs a little bit more to have that in place because you need extra door people, in your busier hours and to make sure that, we just have one way in and one way out. So we have extra people on with, headsets to make sure that no one's meeting in the stairway, that kind of stuff. But, but they're sound investments. They're costs. But right now, as people, again, ease back in, we have to make sure that everyone's, comfortable.
So do you think you'll go back to the old normal? Like today, we'll probably never shake hands again. There'll be a lot of impacts of this. You're going to fundamentally change the way that we behave.
Yeah.
Do you think there's going to be profound changes to your business, especially maybe the third floor?
Well, yeah. We haven't ventured into the late night. The restaurant, again, it's easier to manage, with low numbers, it's easier to manage. But I don't know what to expect late night because, we all know social distancing is the last thing on someone's minds at 1 a.m. Whatnot. So I really hope it does resume. Again, don't know when, but I hope the restrictions. Again, I know the restrictions have always been rightfully kind of based on behavior. So I would like to if we delve back into late night, again, take baby steps. Would like to have music here soon. Again, another industry that's taken right on the forehead, right? And it's a livelihood of a a lot of people. We talked earlier. Some it's their secondary job, but but with secondary job, that's still income into your home,
Necessary
right? And we pay a lot of money out annually. And we're just one among many that do. But the musicians in PEI are among those that might get forgotten otherwise. We have, and some it's their primary income. Staples here. Gordon Belcher and Richard Wood have been Sunday night staples here for 5 months of the year for, I don't know how long. Gordon Belcher's been playing here for, I think he said 32 years. And Guinness. Jim and Laura and Patty Farrell. Husband, wife, and their grown son, they're here anywhere 1 to 3 nights a week for 5 months of the year and have been playing here for over 30 years. So there's just so many, again, you mentioned,
supply chain.
It really is. And so we're really, really hopeful. We're trying to find a way, the restrictions are a little bit tougher on musicians and choir members.
Unfortunate for you, but
your secondary career might be you might need a new side hustle.
But I think just in terms of, we talked briefly about it, just in terms of supporting local, but also I think what we don't realize is business supporting business. So do you want to, can you touch on any of that, what you've seen just in terms of the past 3 months of other businesses supporting small businesses?
Another excellent question, and I appreciate you asking that one.
That's why we bring him. He brings a good
He's a
hard-nosed journalist.
Jeez, man, please. Again, we've seen so many good stories globally of people and organizations and associations all doing, digging deep in what can we do to help our community, what can we do to help. But the business support has been, again, in PEI, that's why we choose to live here, right? Because you help each other. And
so even competitors, you're
my word,
era of collaboration. You're doing that within the business.
I suspect it is in other industries. I wouldn't be convinced it's likely as tight in some industries, but I can tell you in anything restaurant, hospitality related, I think one of it's part of our DNA, right? If you're in the tourism sector, whether you're a hotel, restaurant, tour guide,
the high tide will float all boats. Everybody's doing well.
But no, everybody has been mindful of everybody, generally plays fair. I've been, as you can likely tell, I haven't missed many meals, and they, most of them are from here, but they're not all, because we try to, we try to make our way around Charlottetown. You know what I mean? And it's not mystery shopping. It's just, again, to support, for those, again, that have been in the sector, it's not for the faint of heart. I think most restaurant owners and operators, do it for the love of it. You know what I mean? Enjoyment. You hope at the end of the day you're going to make money.
So maybe you do this for philanthropic reasons, but Sam and I, we're in business to make money. If you're not making money, you're not going to.
Well, I'm saying that this year we're certainly not.
To that point, okay. Is this a year where, and I've heard this said before, and we've talked about it, is the goal to minimize your losses? Like,
it is.
Is profitability a realistic expectation?
Great question.
And does the public know that you're providing a service, you're not really generating?
Excellent question. And you know what?
Good question.
Yeah, you guys are freaking brilliant. Jeez.
Hear that, CBC?
Great question. I suspect it varies, from place to place. If anybody this year made money, I'd be absolutely shocked. And large or small.
And what's the duration? Like, you measure that is it calendar year? Is it
Yeah.
fiscal from today? Like how? I think this could have legs. I mean, it just takes a long time.
It really
when
does.
a train stops, as it did in February, it takes a long time for that locomotion to build back up.
And we're seeing it. We're seeing it here, and we're just seeing it downtown.
Yeah.
Again, drive through Cavendish. How gut wrenching is that? And downtown. Again, there's days. Downtown. Wow, your stomach just does circles, and I don't mean just for us, but you just drive by places and think, oh man, that's their livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said earlier, business, being in business is not for everyone. It's a choice of Kent and I and many others, but it's you can have glory days. There's
that's why you're in business.
Well, it is, but I think through the past 3 months and 4 months, I guess 3.5, there are so many silent business owners that are, again, scared. I come back to, perhaps scared to share the report card or the results for fear of, looking or feeling like a failure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got nothing to do with that. But the business community has been perhaps apprehensive to speak up for what they might face, and have faced. Thankfully, it's in moderation for fear of sounding greedy. And it's not about greed, whether you're in this industry or other. Would you like to own a hotel today? Right. Would you like to own a hotel?
An airline,
a cruise ship, and some people misconstrue, desires to, perhaps expand our seating, for example, or let more people in. Being greedy. Yeah, you're looking for more. No, we're not. We're looking to survive.
Trying to pay the light bill.
We're trying to pay Maritime Electric. We're trying
hire
to
one more person.
hire. It is, and I'm not saying, I think the general masses know business owners. It's a 7/24, 365 gig, right? That's what it is. Whether you're open those hours or you're not, it's 7/24, 365. And I just feel that there's a lot that have been reluctant to, for fear of sending the wrong message within the community. But we just can't forget, the economy, does drive, it funds our hospitals, it funds our healthcare programs, it funds our roads, and that's just from the taxes. And then, as I said this before, when was the last time you were at a charity event, for regardless of what cause it is, and it'll raise, tens of thousands of dollars because of the generosity of Islanders. Well, you can go down that donation sheet and you're going to see, restaurant, hotel,
golf course,
retailer, golf course, oyster guy, lobster guy, meat guy. You know what I mean?
They can't do that.
It's the ripple effect is so enormous you can't even describe it. Even advertising, right now, and again, we're one of many that spend a ton of money in advertising. And I look at those. I look at Yannick with the Buzz. They bought the Buzz within 2 weeks of COVID shutdown. And it's an important medium for a lot of people, and God love them. We really can't afford to take an ad, but we're going to. You know what I mean? Again, because it all has a ripple effect, right? And I'm sure everybody else, will find a way to do the same. But there's just so many, and I hope this does not sound in any way like a sad sack story. You know what I mean? But it takes it all, like the impacts are just totally indescribable to the whole community.
But no business owner wants to stand up and say, look, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
We really need your support. Come and support local. as one who's had many spectacular failures, I'm happy to say that, yeah, this is a tough environment.
Yeah.
And businesses are having a hard time.
Yeah, yeah.
And you've got to support it. If you enjoy the service you get from your local purveyors of any retailers are having a hard time too.
Oh my word!
You got to support the
word.
local small guys.
Oh
but
my
when
word!
you drive around downtown, as you said, and you see natural selection, playing out in front of your eyes, the impact of that to employees and to the tax base and to the tenants, the renters, like it's
it is, and I couldn't agree more. And I think there's so many organizations that have stood tall through it. And one, I don't know if I'm allowed to say whatever, but I'm just
we don't edit this.
But one, and I and I always fear of pointing somebody out and missing somebody else. But Ocean 100, in my humble opinion, has been a community leader, to say the least. Because. And it's got nothing to do with the fact that Jennifer is a good friend of ours, right? But you know what? They have listened. They have listened to the challenges facing business community, period. And their parent company issued grants for advertising, and so recognizing that advertising budgets are skimpy, right, if any, but they granted a lot of wishes to companies across PEI in a time where they've never needed it more. But in addition to that, the messaging has been about community, and I applaud. I applauded. High five to them, because they're reminding us all there has never been a more important time to shop local and buy PEI. And that doesn't mean that we're not going to buy from some neighbors. We have a lot of good neighbors in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia and other places. But if there's ever a time, and sometimes it may cost you a little bit more to shop locally than online. Right. And that's what their messaging has stood out to me, because they pointed out that it is local business that supports your kids' soccer teams and hockey teams and basketball teams and creates employment and all that stuff. And I'm not telling people, or suggesting they don't shop online, but if there's ever a time where you need to give it a second thought, I'm not saying self-serving. I'm just saying the business community at large. Needs and the retailers, because I tell you, so you may see a sexier pair of shoes online somewhere, but what?
Even if they don't fit, buy them local and kind of keep.
Well, do you know what? Proud Shoes. I'll just use them as one example. A long time storied family company in PEI that would sure love to sell somebody a pair of shoes today, rather than have them delivered from Amazon.
You shop at Right Shoes a lot. That's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Nice heels.
Susie Shear.
Another good local.
So before we finish up, one thing I really wanted to touch on is, and this has been kind of a mantra through COVID-19, is the opportunity that it does present. So oftentimes we'll always dwell on the negative parts, and it is negative. It's gut-wrenching how fiscally negative it is, but there is through every crisis there is opportunity. So, and I know when you walk up Dublin, you can see that you are taking advantage of the opportunity. There's new construction going outside, and I'm sure there's other things you've done, whether internally or externally, that have taken advantage of the downtimes to kind of reassess and reaffirm yourself for when a post-COVID world. So the opportunity in that. Yeah, great question. It has, and we are hopeful that this time next week we'll have our first ever street side presence on Sydney Street. We're
Do you need a DJ?
Yeah.
I'll leave my car.
Okay.
Sign us.
Awesome. So that's been a spiritual lift for us, and our employees are excited because
we put the whole area. It will
Yeah.
become more vibrant.
Well, we hope. We find out Thursday evening after a vote whether the street closure
So this is
occurs.
city council, but city,
Yeah.
I mean, my sense is city council have to be supporting any business that want to try something innovative.
Yeah, I think, and they see. I don't know the vote, but I will say, they've been listening. We had Greg Rivard, who oversees the planning, and Alana Jankov, who's been the counselor for this part of town. They've been very helpful in I guess addressing, and helping us do a gap analysis, if you will, to see where is it safe to do it, and I respect all of that, and I think, fingers crossed, so we're very hopeful. Again, we have our patio with or without the street closure, which we're blessed to have, but the street closure would, I think, drive more traffic, and and let's face it, downtown is not a place in the summer months where Islanders have a history of going.
It's busy. It's crowded. It's expensive. There's a lot of people. So this is exactly the kind of leadership that the council, I hope, take. And I'm going to be optimistic they are going to support local business.
Yeah.
What other leadership do you think could be demonstrated, or what else could other levels of government do that might support? I mean, could they do reductions in some of the taxes on liquor? Like, is there something that would be a benefit if you had that additional incremental to invest that someplace rather than? I mean, there's a lot of rebates for everything.
Yeah, there have been. Yeah, I think they've that's always a slippery slope, right?
Well, so you stay in the high road.
Yeah. No, but I do. Anybody that's spent any time with me the last 3 or 4 months would know that I've been very complimentary of our government locally and nationally.
Sure.
If you look at other parts of the world, I think for the most part our politicians have put political stripes aside and did work together.
Republicans and Democrats are working together too, though. I mean, and they're spending trillions of dollars to stimulate their economy.
Yes,
so everybody has to work together.
They absolutely do.
It would be unacceptable.
Agreed. But I think so we're thankful of some of the measures they put in place. I think there's more that will need to be done. Likely at both levels, whether that's tax reduction. Again, I think I really, to tell you the truth, I don't think they have any choice if they want any of the economies to survive. You just don't. Business owners, like say, are taking it on the chin right now. And
if it gets easy to turtle. And at some point, businesses will just say, "This is not worth the effort. I can't make the return."
Yeah.
And business owners are rational actors. If you're not going to make a return your time, you don't have to do it for philanthropic reasons. But some of these programs that are expiring, like the CWS, we talked about that. That's kind of on the cusp of expiration.
Yeah.
So if that doesn't continue, do you not you, but does business maintain the staff complement they have, or do they retract? If the wage subsidies, if the rental subsidies. So I think the government have an obligation. They shut the economy. Business didn't shut this thing down.
That's right.
Government shut this. They've got to support through the recovery. And unfortunately, we're a seasonal economy. And they're going to have to, I believe, they're going to have an obligation to support businesses through the dark days of winter. Because it's going to be spring before we see much light again. There's my... thank you. I appreciate that. I hope somebody somewhere in government's listening.
Regardless, and I will say, that there is more, regardless of who is there. There's a reason why I'm not a politician, right? Because I don't want their job right now. But there is, and I have a level of confidence that the governments will continue to support business. At the end of the day, you don't have a choice. You just don't have a choice. It's the income. It's eventually, at the end of the day, everything. Everything else is, most other things are seen as expenses on the the P&L, right, for the province, and it doesn't, and you get the tax. It's your top line, so you don't have a bottom line if you don't have a top, right? So But anyway, but I think they will. I feel confident again that they will, and I don't know what those answers are, but I think if there's consistency. Yeah, and I think everybody's situation is a little bit different. So I think right now they've been trying to do kind of blanket coverage, that can serve all sectors quickly.
Yes.
They're
responsive, and that's critical.
Yeah.
To tailor some of these things. And
yes.
Have a little longer horizon.
Yes.
Ease out of this because you can't afford to.
Yeah. No. It's not. It's not sustainable, just to say the least. So I think. I think this weekend will be our biggest telling tale yet, right? Because the first time we've let visitors come in, and again, as you said, there's a lot of excitement and like an equal amount of concern. But I can tell you if we don't open the province soon, there's going to be a lot more to worry about than if we do. And I totally get I totally get that everyone's appetite to go out in public is different. My parents are in their 80s, so guess what? They don't go very far. I go a lot farther. You know what I mean?
Sam, you can't stop them.
Sam, you just.
but if this bubble breaks,
and
it has, great. How long is any forecast? And how long is it going to take for visitors to come? So the hotels open up on Friday or Saturday,
which is great news.
It's great, but how long before you get a 20% occupancy? Like, is this going to be first July, or are we looking at the end of July before you can even?
I would be. My own personal guess, I would say it's going to be like August before you see anything of any size. One on timing, right? One vacation requests. You know what I mean?
And comfort to travel.
Comfort to travel and vacation requests usually go in. You know what I mean? With advance notice. So
I've been on vacation since March, so I'm ready to go.
No, I think we're touching on all the right things.
Yes.
I think it's warranting more discussion. But we will. You got to go back in the kitchen. I think.
It sounds like we're getting ready to open.
That's going to be a big night tonight.
Yeah.
So get down to it. Yeah. Should we go to the Dublin or Claddagh? Where would you suggest?
Well, you know what?
We'll go to Claddagh.
We can do both.
Anyway, that's that, as I was telling you, we're sitting in 37 years of history right here on the Claddagh. And a lot of people kind of have forgotten about it, as I said before, and so people. So that again, a shining light for us is the fact that our patio is going to be the Claddagh, because we don't have a storefront, right? Because everyone would know this building as the Old Dublin Pub.
So if you're uncomfortable to get into a physical environment, sit in a social distance space, so this is well laid out, you can sit outside. And you can get
next week you'll be able to sit on a very well built MacPhee, patio. So but that's one thing giving us a lot of inspiration right now, and it's it's given me personally a really good lift the last few weeks, seeing our employees get excited about it, and just so the Claddagh will be open during the day, which we've never done. I don't think if they did it was a long time ago. So we're bringing, reinventing, or reintroducing the Claddagh to Charlottetown. For 37 years, but again, so that's one, and making it more accessible to a larger part of the population.
Oh, well, we thank you for your time, and you'll see us around for sure.
Okay, well that's good. Yeah, that's good. Anyway, kudos to you guys. I can't. A lot of people have had to dig deep for innovation, and I've watched a few of these, all well done, and again, it's just another form of island companies digging deep to stimulate, and get good stories out there. So.
And hearing, in your case, you've adapted. This has been a really unprecedented challenge.
Yeah,
businesses adapt to it. Everybody adapts differently. Jeff Cook, he adapted quickly. Used technology. People who've had technology that has been not fully utilized.
Yeah,
look at e-commerce stores for pretty much every
every
retail store, everything.
Home delivery, as you've done curbside.
Yeah,
so to hear how you've adapted and how you know, we've talked a little bit outside of this program, but you know, now you're extending your service options by having different venues. These are the success stories that, regardless of the business that you're in, everybody needs to adapt, because we're in this for a little bit longer.
We are.
So thank you very much. Thank you, Sam MacPhee, as always.
As
Pleasure to be
always.
with you. Thank you, Kent, for sharing.
Well, happy to have you here. Really appreciate being a part of your stellar cast lineup. We'll see you soon.